powerful, very powerful spectrum of I guess, policing they can use. And if they feel that they are threatened, even by hand, because what most officers say, let me see your hand, let me see your hand, let me see your hand. And I always say, well, I ain't done anything wrong, I ain't done anything wrong. Show your hands. Show your hands, and then, hey, I tell you, call me, we'll fight it later. But don't put yourself in a position to be hurt. Like, you know, like I had a client the other day, yeah, outstanding on robbery warrants. I said, look, don't give the police a reason to hurt you. Come see me. I'll call them. Let's turn you in so we can provide a safe environment. So don't give the police necessarily control. You take some of that control away. Say, hey, I'm coming with my lawyer to turn myself in, because it provides a safe environment. There's a witness. They can't do anything, you know what I'm saying, to you. Then they can't jump on you. They can't beat you or anything like that. So let's take a little bit of control of the situation. But the police, unfortunately, have some great authority to use, to use force. But I always say, even if you just burn it up inside, handle it. Try to handle it calmly. Don't give them a reason. No aggressive movements, regardless if it's just burning you up, because. It should be, everything that happens should be on camera. Yes.
So let me ask you about that question. That camera. Now, they say that, the body camera wasn't on, or the car camera wasn't on. Doesn't it supposed to be on at every stop? At every interaction with the individual, it has the body camera supposed to be on in the car?
I'll talk about Columbus. Okay. Most of, from what I've been told, the assigned cars, that means they're assigned to a particular officer, all have cameras. The ones that don't have cameras for whatever reason are what they call fleet cars, where I might take it first shift, you might take it second shift, the other person might take morning watch. They share the car. Why that is, I don't know. But those don't have cameras. Now, when those that do have cameras, when they initiate the emergency lights, that camera's rolling. That camera rolling, and it does not stop until the investigative stop is over. Now the officer, they're not supposed to have access to the box.
To turn it off and on.
The recorder, like to erase it. It's supposed to be a supervising, either captain or lieutenant, that has the key to go in and retract that tape. Now, that after the tape is full, what's supposed to happen is then it's placed in property and evidence for safekeeping, so it can be, subpoenaed or utilized at a later date. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. The camera working or different things like that. Again.
So is that a violation of our rights?
Well, that's a violation. And see, the thing is, it's a violation of policy. But then once again, it's like, well, how can you, as a defender, how can I prove that the camera wasn't working? They said it wasn't working, so how can we really prove that it was working? Because we don't have access, to that information as far as because a captain could remove.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. The law doesn't require it.
The law doesn't require the body camera or the camera in the car. What's the purpose of it then?
It's just a policy. It's just a purpose. It's really to supposedly protect the police officer from being accused of any wrongdoing. But actually, the other way around, it should protect us for having the police officer do something to us. And see, that's the problem. But it's not a technicality for say that, okay, well, the camera wasn't on, the case is be dropped. It doesn't happen. It's just a violation of their policy, but it doesn't equate to a technicality that causes the case to be dismissed. It's a tool that we can use, just like, for example, state patrol. I mean, any kind of DUI, 99.9% of the time, they always had a camera. Always. I've subpoenaed, video camera from years ago. They always had a camera. It just something about the local police department that they work sometimes, and sometimes they don't.
They could be.
When we see
young men or whomever pulled over, I have a tendency to pull over and just watch the interaction.
What about
you have that right. That's one thing.
Get a camera.
Yeah. Well, they cannot tell you to turn off their camera. If you're in a public place.
Well, at this point, I didn't even think about the camera. It's just, I was riding, I saw a young guy, could have been my nephew, I'm just watching. I've also watched the police beat the hell out of a man. Beat the hell out of him in Old Charlie's parking lot. Beat him so bad that they had to turn him loose. So, but at the same time, you know, they sitting there telling me, "Oh, this is not your business. You
no,
gotta go away." So I do not have to leave.
You do not. If you are now, you can't. Basically, what I say, kind of get in their space.
Yeah. No,
but if you're across the street at a parking lot, they cannot force you to leave.
I was probably about 2 car lengths away.
If you're out of their space, you're not involved in the interaction, you can turn your camera, you can call somebody, you can just visually observe. They cannot legally make you leave.
What if they say turn the camera off?
They can't tell you to turn the camera off.
You say turn the camera off, give me that phone.
And become physical.
They've actually committed the battery.
So at that time, I'm scared I can defend myself.
They actually committed
backing and recording.
Yeah, backing and recording.
That's where you need to be.
And back then, they've actually committed a crime. And they touching you because there's no articulate suspicion that you've done anything wrong. That's a battery.
Okay.
That's a battery. And then if they take your camera, that's theft.
That's it.
I mean, if you're in a public parking lot.
Have you had any of those cases?
I haven't personally, you know what I'm saying,
I had one like from front porch of the South after the Boosie concert.
Yeah.
I did one in court not too long ago.
And what happened?
Go ahead.
You know, and it was a situation where an individual pulled out a camera and started to record.
Oh, so it's not
well,
coming to court yet?
Well, it went to court.
Okay.
And you know, those are very tricky, but you just have to document as much as you can. As much as you can document.
So is it room for a lawsuit?
In some situations, yes.
Okay.
In some situations, yes.
Okay.
I mean, yes.
Of the police department, I need to be a little bit more specific.
Of whoever committed that act against you, the police, sheriff, you know.
Okay, that department.
Whatever department it is.
Or that individual.
At the individual and you know.
What I've told people sometimes, I have an app on my phone. It's free. It's like a voice recorder. I mean, if you have a traffic stop, you simply pull the app up, pull it, you start it, and you just set it down in your seat. You just lay it down in your seat.
So the question with that is, when people, so in court, when they said that you wasn't supposed to, I wasn't aware that I was being recorded. So does it stand in court?
No.
They I
mean, if I was recording the officer by pulling me over, I can.
You can bring that video or audio with you to court. You can bring it. Yeah, you're part of anything. The only thing that you can't do when it comes to recording videotape or audio tape, you can't record. Like, you can't be a third party and record. Like, if y'all having a conversation and y'all don't even know I'm present and I'm recording you all, then that's the issue. That's like basically legal wiretapping or whatever.
Okay.
But you know, if the police are, we're interacting. You know I'm there. I know you're there. Even though you may not know I'm recording, it still comes in. That's not illegal because the officer is a part of the interaction.
One party to the conversation.
You're part of the conversation.
Hey guys, I just want to say, if we can hold questions right now, it's getting we're down to about 5 minutes before we're ready to serve lunch. So if we can hold questions till maybe while we're eating, and let Stacy finish with his presentation, that would be great. I know y'all hungry.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the questions and a lot of things that everybody's been picking up on are, you know, very pertinent. I talked with Cleo for just a brief second a little while back about trying to set up situations where we go in and cut people's sentences if they have paid all their conditions and they've done all their conditions and they're at that point where they can have their probation cut. And we also learned here today that as a result of that, once the probation is cut, then you have that right back to vote. You know, so I talked to Cleo, and I think we had locked in on like $250 or something like that to do for individuals who wanted to try to go back and cut their sentence, which is a break. But at the same time, it's, if it's coming through Judge Knott, then that's what we said we're going to do.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I have made a couple of moves. I've been in court. We had court at 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
Record. Anybody had any final question to me? Ease out. Sure.
I just want to say, just being for real, man, 14%, blacks, we only make up 14% of the United States population, man. And we make up 40% of the prison population. Yeah. So, I mean, the reason why a lot of this stuff is happening because it is targeting just us. And I mean, regardless of what they might say or might do, it is targeted at just us, and it is a reason. And the only way that we're going to fix that is if we help each other out, man. It ain't got nothing to do with them. I mean, like I said, I respect what y'all do to the utmost, but we got to love ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, and we don't teach that to these kids coming up, because they right behind us, and they, it was that gap with like me and Cleo, like 16, 17 years old, being gone away from my kids, or cause like I got a 17-year-old daughter. And I ain't number 34, but I went here to raise her. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm with my child now, but at the same token, it's not a lot of black men that's gonna be in that position to be able to come home after doing 10 years and, for what some say I'm successful, but I don't think I'm successful. But but it's not like a lot of black men that's able to do that. But it's just because I do recognize that it is a problem in our community, and it's targeted at our community, and we got to break that cycle. We got to. Let's speak to you, man. I appreciate you, Cleo.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all being here.
On behalf of Judge Knott, we just want to present you with a token of our appreciation to you. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing this information with us. One more round of applause, please.
Let me just say this also, that it's not an accident why we're here today. It's not an accident why 60 to 70% of blacks dominate the prison system, and why 80% of prisoners who come out return within their lifetime. 80% of the people who go to prison return within their lifetime. That's not even talking about the new ones coming in. That's not even talking about why on Wall Street prisons are an investment for America. The major corporate like AT&T, Verizon, Prime America, GM, Ford, prisons are on Wall Street. Now, I'm going to ask you to see, one thing about it is that we are very illogical. Our thinking is very illogical. For example, I know I work with a lot of young people, and young people are very unjust to each other. But they want justice. In other words, they could be doing all kind of crazy things, but then when you come down on them and put a check on them, they go, you ain't treating me right. So we want justice, but we don't want to be just.
That's right.
So what I'm saying is that we have to, as a community, my contention is that understand this: we are a body of people, but we are we got a dizzy head. The head of our body is of any community is their leadership. When a baby is born, if the butt comes out first, what do they call that? Breech. Okay, there's something wrong with that. You're coming out backwards. So the head is the first thing that comes out. Now the head's responsibility is ultimately, unlike the plants out here, the root of our body is our head. The root of that tree is in the ground. Okay? The root of our body is our head. Our head is our intelligence agency, like you got CIA, FBI, etc. Well, see, our FBI is ability to see with our mind's eye, to hear, to smell, to taste, to think. That's our root. And we are confused. Okay? Now, I would also say this, and this is one of the things that is not designed to offend anyone, but all I've heard this morning is that we have been talking about what happens inside of the box and how to make the box better. The box ain't gonna get no better. You gotta come outside of the box. You gotta but see, the thing about it also that we have been programmed and conditioned to love problems. We love problems, but we don't like solutions. We started seeing what time we got to go when the solutions start talking about it. You see? Because we love problems. Because, first of all, we don't believe in God. We don't think that we actually can solve these problems. We don't think God is bigger than all our problems. We say it with our mouth, but we believe that the dollar is going to save us. And the dollar is not going to save you. Politics is not going to save you. Okay? The lawyers are not going to save you. Okay? The only thing that is going to save us is when we create an economy. Okay? Now, I heard someone talking earlier today about this society and how we're being herded into the system of imprisonment. Think about it for a minute. Millions of us were brought here from Africa to work from here down. We were brought here to think because it's 3/5 of a person. Now, my point of it is that now you got look at America the way white folks do. They got all these millions of strong black men in particular. They got all these brilliant, intelligent women. Okay? They ain't got nothing for us. They'll pick out the best and the brightest and stick them in Affleck and Synovus. Okay? And we think that we're the prize catch, and we think that we got that because of our special talents. No, you didn't get that because of your special talent. It's that they had to use somebody and you were usable. You know, they got to put an example, a carrot in front of you and say, all y'all can be Michael Jordan. And so all across America, you ask a kid in middle school, what you want to do? I want to be a basketball player, football player, but they in the alternative school. Reality check. Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that we all got to grow outside of where we are and stop talking about in the box. Okay? We got to talk about creating a new reality. You got Koreans came here, can't even talk. They said you need to be able to articulate in order to be successful in America. Koreans come here and still can't talk, but they got rich. These Indians have come here, getting rich. We can't wait for them doors open. We busting in there to go in there and play our numbers. See what I'm saying? The same people told us that playing the bug was illegal, but the one thing shut the some of y'all know what the bug is. Okay? But I'll tell you about that later if you don't know. But they shut the bug down, then they opened up the lottery. And we put more money in the lottery than anybody. Grandmama in there, playing got her little chick, she playing the numbers. No, the numbers need to be invested in this business right here. That's your numbers. No fly in the sky, no spookiness. It's time we got to grow up. They treat us like children. If you imagine, to me as a psychologist, we look like grown people riding around on tricycles. Can you imagine that picture? That's the way you look. That's the way we look to other people. Because we're not grown people. In our community, nobody should be making more money in businesses than we do in our community. Okay? You go to another country, you go to India and see if there are more black folks or even white folks making money in business in India than Indians are. Go anywhere, China, anywhere. It don't happen. Only here. Everybody study us. But give us something twinkling, that when they put these flashing lights out there, they know you're going to stop. Okay? So I'm just trying to say that this is where we come from. Prior to Rebound, there's something we call our mission statement. Without a history, we have no identity. Without an identity, there is no direction. Without a positive direction, we have no purpose. Without a purpose, there can never be true freedom. Our problem is always that our identity. We identify with everything but who we are. So therefore, we see so much division. We don't see what we have in common. We see divisiveness. But you all represent the new leadership. It's not coming from, and I love Stacy, I love Will, I know them very personally. But I'm trying to say, they're engaged in the system. They are not leaders. They cannot be leaders. You have to be leaders. Those who are not against, and my ex-offenders should be the leaders of our community because they got the least of this system. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you automatically compromise when you are getting your vested interest from the system. Okay? The least you are connected to the system, that's why the streets really should be the leader. They should be telling them, this is what we want, and don't bring us nothing else. Right. Then white folks would do different. The reason why white folks don't do no better is because the Negroes around them, okay, tell them what they want to hear. Then they come back and tell you that, no, vote and get me in. We've been voting. We got people in this town been getting elected for 40 years, and the only thing they be given is plaques. They ain't giving you nothing. Okay, so this is just reality check. So what I'm saying to you is that one is that we're going to have to do some growing. We have to do some studying to be leaders. And so therefore we have to be very clear about our identity. Today I'd like to thank Sister for doing what she's doing. Because this is a coming together. It's a beginning. Progress is only what happens after we leave today. Right. Let me be very clear about that. Progress is only, this is not progress, this is a beginning. Now, success is only when we start working together. Okay? Now, we were brought here from another continent, and we were brought here to be free labor. They don't need us anymore unless we decide that we need our children, that our children are going to be killing each other, going to be killing us. Everybody hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We got to give them something to do.
That's right.
They want them, they making money off of them. That's why they got Wall Street. They making billions of dollars. Every time they lock you up, they are making money. That's why they come with all these frivolous ways to get you in there. They can say you look like you getting ready to do something, they can lock you up. You got to pay a bail and a bond, you got to get your lawyer and all that, and take your car and take your house in the meantime. Then after it all said and done, you paid all that money and said, oh, we sorry. And we get along with that. Okay. Second part. Let me share this with you. Let me take this last real quick. I'm going to get out of your way. But I just want to make sure that I leave you something to understand what I do. Okay? The girls don't think they have to get married, and the boys don't think the girls need them anyway. Because they say the only thing you need is the money. So give them the child support.
That's the thing.
You got boys saying my mama was my dad and my mama. Wrong answer. Never can be. But that's again disjointed. We call it cognitive dissonance. Disjointed from reality. Because your mother was dad, she did a great job. She was a great mother. Can't be a daddy. Right. Daddy can't be a mama. No matter how great a daddy you had, he can't be mama. Okay? So therefore, that's a disjoint. But what is the message you send to your child, your male child? Well, mama was mama and dad, so he said, I didn't need it. I'm just going to leave this seed and keep it moving like the rest of the animals do. I mean, just give me the money. And that's all. I'm just giving the money? Okay, fine, that's all. Now understanding really this part here. And that is what? 63% of youth homicides are from fatherless homes. 60. Can everybody say 63%? 63%. From fatherless homes. Okay, everybody say 90%. 90%. Of all homeless and runaway children from fatherless homes. Everybody say 85%. 85%. Of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Everybody say 80%. 80%. Of rapists with anger problems come from fatherless homes. That they wanted men who came out of prison to come back and pay their child support. But we had some brothers who came together and pushed forward the notion that, hey, look, what about these statistics here? The money is not the most important thing. It's the fathers in the life of the children is the most important things. But then we've gotten so corrupted in our thinking. There are mothers who don't want the fathers who want to be a part of children's life to be a part of children's life. And they think that makes sense. Because he got a new girlfriend. Or her new boyfriend don't want him around. I mean, that's how convoluted we are. Okay. So we'll had to go in and say, look, we know what their agenda is, but we have another agenda. And our agenda is that I told them that and that's just what we do all the time. By the way, Sean knows, okay? Philippe knows. This is part of our army. You see? In other words, what I'm saying to say to you is that we're going to let them know that, look, we're not going to sell you no wood nickels. We're not going to tell you. I mean, I lead to the idea about resumes and getting, finding your job. I mean, I leave that to all you in here that want to do something better. Okay, y'all caucus back in the dome and talk about putting together a business plan. Okay, talk about you all like music, but then talk about how you're going to do that from city to city. Okay, and that's some other thing we talk about. So we call it the Father Reentry Program. Right now, we'll be moving soon into Columbus. When I say we're talking about Project Rebound, to Columbus and Albany. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk so that we can create a seamless network. There's a role for every, whatever you do best. For example, you might do 5 things. You might do 5 things. 2 of those things might overlap. Well, you pick out the best one you do. She got the best one you do. Do that. Then we create a seamless network. Then it don't confuse people because we need a network so we can get everybody moving in the same direction. Things are getting worse in our community. It is not enough for us to look at our neighbor and say, well, it's almost like Thanksgiving, we're going to give out turkeys to everybody. Because we're going to give out toys. But what about the other 364 days or 63 days? What happens to people lying there? We don't die and come back for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So therefore, we're talking about it got to be a lifestyle. Got to be a lifestyle. You're going to have to make a conscious decision that this has to be a lifestyle. Those people who left India came here because they knew they were going to bring their culture. They knew that whether they're Hindu or Muslim, they still going to work together. They're building a motel. They're knocking down buildings, putting up service stations.
Tells us is how you figure out when you go to, where's the first place you think about taking your money if you're going to save it?
Bank.
To the bank. Now if the bank said I'm going to give you 1% on your money, which they don't do, it's not even 1% right now, right? 1 goes into 72 how many times? 72. What the rule of 72 says is whatever interest rate you're earning, if you divide that into number 72, it tells you how many years it takes money to double. So that means if I'm getting 1%, 1 goes into 72 times, that means if I give them $1,000 today, 72 years from now I'll have $2,000. Is that exciting? No. Okay. So let's look at just an example, because here's another thing I see all the time. Tax returns. We take the tax returns and we go buy some TVs and we go buy some rims. We go below it before it's ever even in our hands it's spent. Okay? Let's take $5,000 from a tax return. 3 goes into 72 24 times. If I took that $5,000 24 years from now, I'd have $10,000. But let me show you another example at 12%, which is invested in the economy, okay, into the market. 12 goes into 72 6 times. So now my 5,000 every 6 years, that's going to be, anybody, before I do that, anybody got a wild guess of what that 5,000 is going to be in 24 years? You can't look, don't count. 10,000? Okay, let's look. 5 doubles to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80. In a 24-year period, you have almost accumulated $100,000 from one time putting your tax return up rather than spending it. How insane is that?
Can we get them, because a person may not have $5,000, so could we give them a better?
You could do 1,000. You could do 500. You could say $25 a month. You could take 300. You can do. It doesn't take a lot of money to become wealthy. And see, part of what has happened in our community is nobody's talking to us about saving a little bit of money, so we go blow it.
But I think this is why, Jacinta, because when they see these type of numbers, 5,000, 1,000, stuff like that, that deters them. So that's why I was saying, is there a number, a logical number that everybody can afford? Like you said, $30 a month.
Absolutely. You could do $1 a day. Like we said, you could do $25 a month as a minimum. if you want to do something monthly.
And where is this investing his money at?
We're talking about the market and mutual funds.
Mutual funds, okay.
Which has done more than this in the past 100 years. See, here's another part of the conspiracy almost, is that all we see is the bad side. We just hear about, oh, so-and-so lost all their money in the market. That's all you get. But see, you don't understand, the rich folks have their money there, okay? If you are a millionaire or billionaire already, would you put your money? Oh yeah, we can show you how to get those investments.
No, how can you lose it? That's you always get a negative part.
In a mutual fund, okay. Now there's different ways of investing. Now you can go invest in 1 or 2 different companies. That's going to be more risky. That's like going to the casino, okay? Because you don't know what any one company is going to do. What a mutual fund does is it invests in hundreds of companies at the same time. So in order for you to lose it, every single company in a fund might have 100, 200, 300 companies in it. In order for you to lose that money, every single company has to go bankrupt at the same time. Now if Walmart, Target, IBM, Microsoft, Disney, Apple, all these companies go bankrupt at the same time, you better be in church somewhere. Because something ain't going to be right on that day.
So what would you offer someone if it's not somebody who's already 40 and not, you're not thinking that you think you're going to be here in 25 years, but something where you can actually do something and actually see your money in 5 years, 10 years?
There's a lot of different investments out there, and basically what I do is sit down and figure out what your time frame is, and then we can figure out which one of those investments are best.
So there are options for someone who's 38, 40, or 50.
Absolutely. There's options for somebody who's 65, 70. There's always something that you can do. Now, let me just take it down to let me just show you one other example on that, and then we'll talk about the insurance for a second. How many people know somebody that could blow $50 in a week? So we agree it's easy to blow $50.
That's gas money.
Right. Now I'm talking about, I'm not talking about for your necessities. I'm talking about blowing. Don't have nothing to show for it. Yeah. It's just gone. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Y'all know that's $200 a month, right? Yeah. Okay, now I ask people all the time how many people could blow $50 a week. Everybody raise their hand. They know it. They brag about it. But when I ask you, can you save $50 a week, what do you tell me? See, it's a mentality. It's a mentality. You have what you need to be wealthy. You have what you need to change your family tree. You have what you need to teach your children how to be better. The economy that Dr. Hood was talking about, it is not just a pie in the sky. Within our community, we have $43 trillion worth of buying power. And do you know where that goes? To the Mercedes.
Up in smoke.
Right. We spend less than 1% of it within our own economy. We spend less than 1% of it within our own businesses. Less than 1%. Do you know that a white person, we are 6 times more likely to go buy a Mercedes than the white folks? Despite what you may think, they're the ones you're trying to look like. But we're 6 times more likely to buy, and when we go buy it, we have 3 times less money than they do. They go buy the same car with 3 times more than net worth. You see, we've got to get our priorities straight when it comes to money. $200 a month, all right, let's see, $200 a month, that $50 a week that you can't seem to save but you can blow, okay? If you save that from age 30 to age 67, just your working life, okay, just kind of working life, that is over $720,000. Does that not change your family tree?
I missed it.
That $200 a month or $50 a week, if you were to save that just during your working life, 30 to 67, that's over $720,000. Money for your family. Change your family tree. Maybe you have made some mistakes, but everybody behind you don't have to make the same one.
Correct.
You can teach them how to do something different. But it starts with your own sense of, it's got to be a sense of urgency here about using our dollars to benefit our families. Right? Now, the insurance, this is the last piece I'm going to show you, is the foundation to your financial plan. The reason is this, it's the only way to put money back in the household when you have no money saved. Okay? And if somebody is dependent on you for money, those kids that, you know, it doesn't matter if you're here or not. If you love your family, you should make sure they're okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? I mean, that's just bottom line what it is. I have life insurance because I love my children. Mm-hmm. If something happens to me, there needs to be cash somewhere for them to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, the problem is with insurance, we have been stuck and pretty much sold the wrong stuff. Somebody came knocking on grandma's door every week. Anybody seen them? Collecting premium. Right. Collecting premium every week. Right? Came time to pay, no money, or not enough. Yeah. Right? It's because we're not dealing with the right kind of insurance. Now, I want to tell you, I'm just going to show you the difference between the two types, and then, you know, and we'll talk about it from there. But anybody ever heard someone say they can borrow money against their policy? Yes. Yeah, that's all we've heard about, right? I'm going to show you an example. There's really two types of insurances. There's two ways for you to buy life insurance. One of them is if you buy a policy that you can save money with. Okay? The other way, you buy a policy you don't save money with. Okay? Now, let's take $100 a month, and let's say we could put it in Bank A. Save money in your policy or save money out of your policy. Bank A says if you give me your money for the first 3 to 5 years, your balance is going to say zero. Does that sound like a good plan? I'm going to give you $100. 5 years down the road, I'm going to send you a statement that says you don't have any money. Does that sound good? No. Bank B says, well, with us, you start earning money from day one. So which one sounds the best so far?
Best B.
Right. But then Bank A says, well, listen, after that 5 years, I'm going to guarantee that you make at least 4% on your money. Well, now we know the rule of 72, right? So we know 4% is not a lot. Bank B says, well, we've been paying 10 to 12% since we've been open. I do. So which one sounds better again? Last thing Bank A says to get your cash is, look, if you look 20 years down the road, I'm going to have about $10,000 saved here for you. Only thing is, if you want to get to it, I'm going to need you to take out a loan and pay me back at 8%. What? Now, should you pass away, tell your survivors, I get to keep whatever cash you left at my bank. Now, Bank B says, well, 20 years down the road, you have about $50,000 saved. If you want to get to it, sure, we'll send you a check in the mail within 7 days. Should you pass away, your survivors get whatever's here. So where are we going to go?
Bank B.
Bank B. Nobody ever picked. We're Bank B. Okay. The good news is we're Bank B. Nobody's ever picked Bank A. But the problem is this is how we buy our life insurance. Because when somebody says, I get you a policy that you can borrow money against, the Gerber Grow Up plans you see on TV, all that stuff, this is what's happening to that savings. Now, who's paying the premium? You are. So whose money should be in the savings? Yours. But why would I have to borrow it if it was mine? And pay it back with interest? It was like the biggest scam there is, that they convinced us that we should borrow our money from them and pay them back with interest. And then if you never borrowed a dime out of that policy, the company still gets to keep your cash. Did you know that? Yeah. If you do borrow money out of it, they get to subtract whatever you owe from the death benefit should something happen. So here what happens is this is a very expensive way to buy life insurance. Okay?
The only thing you get is your premium.
Right.
So who's Bank B again now?
Just Santa, can you break it down to them like you broke it down to me? I mean, far as
money, like what it would cost and stuff?
No. Far as what my kids, because that's what is, I mean, that's what is important to me, my kids, but.
Right, well, you know, the thing is, as far as beneficiaries are concerned, I mean.
No, the mutual plans.
Oh, the mutual funds. Yeah, well, really what we're talking about here is the life insurance is really, that's the piece you need until you get your cash. See, you know, Cleo, I guess you don't want me sharing, as a, you know, she's been a client of ours for a long time. You know, Cleo has started not just her insurance, but she has savings. She has investments for all of her kids. And so, see, at some point, those investments are going to be enough. Her investments are going to be enough where she don't even need any insurance.
No insurance, no.
You see, because do you think that Oprah cares how much life insurance she has? No. Does Donald Trump care?
So much for the information. I hope everyone, was able to use the information that was brought upon today. I want to thank Mechanical Eye for coming in, volunteering his time, his services to cover this event. I want to thank you, Sean, so much for your support. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. At least it was a, you know, a step to bettering ourselves to success, you know. I thank you, Eric, for coming out, being on both ends. You know, coming to get some information for yourself and coming to be a support for the job that you manage and willing to hire some of our guys.
You want to?
Okay. Well, if